Okay, so we have 26 minutes. Hello guys, welcome biggity back to another video. So in this video, I want to be talking about a few points. I'll try and make them in a list, but I'm not making any promises not to get carried away with my ADHD. A few points why you shouldn't settle for women that you're not really that into, just in the dating market. So, without further ado, point number one, she knows. When you date a girl, she's acutely aware of the level of man you are. She's, fuck. Okay, I'm not used to recording in front of a window, so any passing people and objects just really fuck with my focus. But I'll try and stay focused, Anyway, she knows when you're settling for her because she's aware of the level of man you are. She's aware that you are only with her because you can't get the caliber of girl that is on what she perceives to be your level for some reason or another. Like when you're dating a girl that you are ultimately not that into, you are settling for her, right? And she knows that you're only settling because you can't get anything else. So why can't you get anything else? That's what she starts wondering about. Is he really that guy that I think he is? It's self-deprecating to think about yourself in this way. Just think about yourself like, why would anyone settle for me, right? But in objective reality, dude, if you're, for example, a really handsome, successful, childless guy, and you go and date an out-of-shape single mother of 4, then that does look kind of odd, right? That just isn't good optics. So anyone looking from the outside in would wonder, what is it about her, or what is it more likely about him? So you shouldn't settle for women you're not that into because she knows you're settling for her, and it's a horrible feeling to be with someone that you know isn't that into you. I mean, if you've ever been broken up with, you know what it's like, towards the end there, especially if you were the one trying to make things work. You know what it's like to want someone who wants nothing to do with you. Like breathing around them, you merely breathing around them just irritates them because it's not that they hate you as a human being. They hate the situation that they're in. And discarding you, for lack of a better word, isn't as easy as they thought it would be. So being in that situation throughout your relationship, whereas she's the one like constantly wondering, is he really even that into me? Like, why is he just stringing me along? Because you also know that you are stringing her along. If you somehow end up pushing a long-term relationship with a chick you're not that into, you're just going to waste your and her time. So point number 2, why you shouldn't settle for women you're not really that into, is that other women know. It goes back to what I said earlier about optics. Other women who, let's say, like, as for example, you are the handsome, successful guy, and you go and date the out of shape single mother of multiple types, then even other women around you and her are like, what? Like, is that really how he sees himself? Dude, it's not polite to say these things out loud, right? But everyone is kind of acutely aware, or at least somewhat aware, of their sexual market value. They're acutely aware of what they can get and cannot get on the dating market. That's why you don't approach that girl. Unless you are objectively like, nah, let's not even go there. You don't approach that girl because you don't believe that you are on her level. And similarly, when you go and date the the chick who is beneath your objective standards compared to you, then other people know that you are the kind of guy who settles. You're the kind of guy who takes what he can get if he can't get what he really wants. And that makes you even less attractive in the eyes of other women. Because, say you do break up with the chick that you settled for, it's kind of tarnished your reputation with the women who you wouldn't have felt like you were settling for, the women you would have truly been content with. They're gonna feel like they're settling for you now. Even worse if you get broken up with by someone you were settling for. Like, just imagine. But okay, fine. Point number three, why you shouldn't settle for women you're not that into, is that as soon as you start entertaining or doing like any kind of dating thing with a girl, any talking stage, even just smashing, you start thinking about her more frequently. Whereas usually your late night epiphanies or your shower thoughts are usually about productive things, like, oh, so this is what that sentence in that book meant. Also, this is what I can try implementing for my customers. Yo, I haven't done this in a while. I need to add this to my systems. Instead of having those kinds of productive epiphanies, you start having epiphanies about her. Like, oh, this is what she meant. Because women talk cryptic a lot of the time. They just don't speak straightforward. And then you have to go and later, like, connect the pieces with your intuition in your subconscious, and now your shower thoughts are like, so that's what she was talking about, so that's what she wanted. Or even if it's not that, you start thinking about things like, so this is what I can do for her. Like, before you were thinking, okay, this is what I can do in my business. Now you start thinking, oh, okay, I can do this for her. I wonder if she'd appreciate this. She said this, I need to remember that. It's a mental load to have feelings for someone. And even if you're just smashing her, you do have feelings for her. Like, the caveman in you can't be so completely detached. Like, if you and a woman who you consciously don't feel like you care about are approached by like a group of three guys in the street while you're with her, and they try and take advantage of her, you're likely not going to just sit around and let it happen. You'll probably incur some injury trying to stop that from happening. You could even go as far as just going completely wild, unhinged, to prevent that from happening because of the gravity of the situation. And it's just something that starts building up within you as soon as you even kiss a woman. I feel like maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a weird dude. But it's just something that starts building up within you, like a sense of responsibility over her. So, of course, if you are now dating this chick who you're not that into, but you still have that sense of responsibility and attachment to her, I just don't think that's a worthwhile distraction. It's not worth the time. It's not. You could have been doing so many other better things than being even if you, like I said, you feel like you don't consciously care about her, so you only call her just to smash. Dude, you're thinking about her in some capacity. Like, she's taking a part of your mental load that could be going elsewhere, dude. Like, if you really can't get the chick you want because she has a boyfriend or something like that, then you shouldn't be going and dating the chick you don't want just to fill your head with now the chick you want and the chick you don't want. It just seems wasteful. Yeah. Like, your mental energy is precious. bro. And it's very limited throughout the day. I think I have a quote here somewhere on my wall that 1440 is the number of minutes in a day. Wait, let's see if I can show you that. Right? You have 1,440. I hope that showed in the camera. I'm recording with my front camera, or whatever. 1,440 minutes is how much time you have in a day. You can't afford to spare a second of that thinking about, interacting in any way, wasting your time essentially with a woman who you don't intend to be a part of your life in the long run. At least not in the capacity that she wants to anyway. So, point number 4. This video is getting much longer than I intended. I might need to do this in 2 parts. But fine. Because I know, like, hey, dog, people have no attention span these days, bro. But anyway. Point number 4 is it's stressful to be fake. You know, to constantly have to, like, convince yourself that she's what you want, you know, to have to overlook the thing that bothers you about her, if it's really such a big thing. Like, if you're not really that attracted to her, but you find her somewhat attractive, or you see how other guys would find her attractive, even though she doesn't really do it for you, you know, I mean, of course, hormonally, biologically, you can still have sex with her, you can still sleep with her, even if your heart's not really in it like that. So I just think putting up a front like that all the time is stressful, cause she probably isn't settling for you, bro. She's probably actually really attracted to you, like she wants you bad. She'll probably wanna fuck all the time. Whereas if you're not that into her, you'll probably feel like doing certain things with her as a chore. If you find her not as attractive as you want, having sex with her will feel like somewhat of a chore. If you're not that proud to be in public with her, going out on dates is going to feel like a chore. If you think she's boring, then speaking to her, even like on text or whatever, is gonna be a chore, bro. Unless, you know, nah. It won't feel like a chore. Like I was about to say, you might be on your purpose, you might be busy with something, but not really, dude. Because even when you're on your purpose, though, when there's a girl that you are actually into, like, you want her there. Because, man, she energizes you. I know there's certainly one round here in the trap, and we could have a minute long or less conversation, and I'll hit a gym PR that day. Or I'll write, like, some of my best songs have come out after her, and I have. Never mind, I'm not going to keep talking about her. So, point number 5, why you shouldn't settle for women you're not that into, is it hurts her. It causes her trauma. Because going back to that point I was saying about how it's not like she knows and she doesn't, no one wants to be settled for, it's that being in that situation for a long time where you're with someone who you know is settling for you, but because you're not settling for them, you are willing to stick with them because you're just so glad to have them, right? She's the one who's glad to have you and she's proud, and you're the one who's kind of treating her like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe not quite like that, but that being in that situation for a prolonged period, bro, it causes damage to her self-esteem, her mental state. Being constantly worried about, is this person gonna leave me? When I get naked, is this person impressed with me? When I bring my child around, or when I talk about my child, is he annoyed with me? Stuff like that, bro. You know, those kinds of things end up giving her a complex that when you eventually, like, inevitably break up with her, she ends up carrying that complex into her other relationships in the future. Now even a dude who really is content with her has to constantly show and prove to her that, wow, like, you're really the one for me, baby. Okay, like, fair day, you're supposed to do that with your girl anyway. You're like, of course. Mara, because she has complexes now and traumas and self-esteem issues from dating the guy who wasn't that into her and basically just used her to fap, then with extra steps, now he has to go the extra mile. And because he's not settling for her, because he's truly happy with her, he won't feel like that's unreasonable. Like Fede, he was always going to do certain things for her to make her feel special, right? But after seeing that his best efforts thus far still leave a void in her, he's gonna start trying harder and harder. And we typically know, I mean, this shit is toxic, bro. I don't know why human nature is this way. Why do we get punished or punish those who love us? Because we do know that the more someone tries to impress you, the less impressed you are with them for some reason. It's kind of backwards, especially when you know that they're trying to impress you. Like that boy doing backflips because he sees a group of girls walking by. Only one might be mildly curious, but the rest of them are like subconsciously acknowledging his athleticism, but they're not thinking, oh, I'd fuck him. Nah, they're just like, oh, he's a child. Stuff like that. So yeah, you shouldn't date women you're not that into because you're going to traumatize them and you're gonna make it harder for the next guy. And similarly to that is a pretty popular point that was talked about a lot in the manosphere is that because guys who are like, we're going back to this dehumanizing scale again, but the guys who are the tens, nines, eights, sevens, because they start dating women who they're not that into, who are like the fours, threes, fives, right, twos, in some cases when you're really down bad, those women start being delusional and start thinking that even with their situation, they still they still deserve to get a guy of that caliber. So that's one more reason, an auxiliary reason. I didn't write that down for why you shouldn't date women you're not that into. Oh wait, no, I did write that down. You shouldn't make it harder for the next guy. Yeah. And lastly, the final reason why you shouldn't date women you're not that into is that it wastes her time and your time, but it also wastes her value. You see, because we generally, as men, are attracted to women the less exposed they have been in their past to the world and especially other men. We it should be pretty common sense that, like, you wouldn't want your daughter, right, to get a whole bunch of level 10 guys running through her without any intention of marrying her, right? You wouldn't want that because you know that by the time she does find a dude who's gonna marry her, he's gonna have to deal with a whole lot of bullshit from her. He's gonna have to deal with a whole lot of her trauma and he's gonna have to overlook a lot of things about her past. Fede, he may not judge her on it. He may not allow it to bother him consciously, like on a day-to-day basis, but it's still going to be something that he has to overlook. So if you are also running around raising the body counts of a bunch of women who you're not that into, you're also contributing to the problem of there being a bunch of high body count women out there that nobody really wants to settle down with, bro. It's not a fair world. Yes, men don't get judged as harshly as women for being highly sexually experienced. But I think just to be empathetic, you know, maybe this is a point that won't resonate with most men. Because to settle for a girl you're not that into. I think you already know these things somewhere in your mind, and you just care more about getting what you want, which is a temporary pleasure, more than the long-term consequences on both yourself and her of getting into this arrangement. So yeah, man, don't go out there and waste this poor girl's value. Don't waste her time. Don't waste her best years of looking as good as she does. Don't go out there impregnating her and then leaving her to be a single mother. Because like you're just creating baggage for this poor girl unnecessarily. You're essentially punishing her for loving you. And that's sadistic as fuck, in my opinion, dude. That's why I don't even date women who I'm not that into. Like, I won't tell them that I'm just not into them. But I won't, because I've made this mistake several times in my past. Gotten into relationships by mistake. I was just flirting. I was bored. And she took it seriously. But I didn't. Then after that point, it took a while to grow the heart to tell her that, I just don't see this going anywhere. But by then, she's probably already attached. And she's going to be rightfully angry at you for wasting time. Because in the time that she's been chasing you, trying to please you, thinking that you would eventually reciprocate, even though you were just breadcrumbing her, she was probably rejecting potentials. People who would have given her the treatment that she desired from you. But again, another thing about desiring a person is that when you desire someone who isn't doing the things that you want them to, even if someone else does those things, you kind of end up resenting the person doing those things. Because, like, it should be her. you know? Why are you doing this? It should be her. I wish you could teach her. Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. But that might be useful to start thinking about what kind of euphemisms I'll use in speech. Because I understand certain things I say come off mean. But it's never my intention to be mean. It's just always my intention to tell the truth as I see it. And in telling that truth, I don't really want to make, like, I pause like this a lot, trying to find nice words. And I'd rather just get to the point as soon as possible and as reasonably as possible. So, I try not to be super mean about it. Like, if you think anything I'm saying is mean, trust me, it's very watered down. It's the best, kindest, most socially polite version of the thing that could have come out of me at the time. I will learn to speak better in a more socially acceptable way as time goes on, I guess. But for now, if you think I'm a dick, understand, I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to tell the truth. And again, if you think I'm a dick, understand I could be a much bigger dick than this. So, don't fuck with me. Okay, I hope you got some value out of that video, guys. If you did, if you want to see more content about why my views anyway on dating, because I'm not purple pill, red pill, or blue pill, but I understand a lot about each area, and I'm a synthesizer. So if you want to stick around for more videos synthesizing concepts between those three areas of dating, when it comes to dating, finance, society, philosophy, you'll find it all right here. I'm the guy. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you boys in the next video. Peace.